Weapons. Great movie, no meaning. So Weapons is a movie that just came out, and it's all the rage. Everybody's talking about what a masterpiece it is, and I just watched it. The premise is simply that, the opening premise is that a bunch of kids left their house at 2:17 in the morning, and they just left their house and were never seen again. And then the rest of the movie is figuring out the mystery of where the kids went, why did they leave, blah blah blah. It was done by a guy named Craggers, I think that's his last name, and his only previous movie was a movie called Barbarian, which I did not like, especially. I didn't dislike it. It was just an okay movie, I thought. And everybody's talking about it. The movie is very well shot. It's very well written, very good dialogue, not too much dialogue. Intelligent, a very intelligent movie. A very original movie, very original story. A very unique plot structure, reminiscent of Reservoir Dogs. In that Reservoir Dogs, there was like a chapter Mr. Blonde, a chapter Mr. Pink, a chapter Mr. White, whatever. This is like, a chapter from each character's perspective. That's the structure of this movie, and that's very unique, and it's not easy to do. Okay, so it's got like a 10 out of 10 setup where 17 kids suddenly left their homes at 2 in the morning and never were seen again. That's a great like Twilight Zone kind of opening and mystery, right? And then the payoff at the very end where they explain why, they explain it all, is also awesome. And the very ending, the way the villain is defeated, is very, very satisfying. I always complain about movies where the villain never gets suitably punished at the end. They just get like killed, whereas they should be like tortured or something. Like you should see them in pain or terrified. So this was very satisfying in that way, because you hate this villain and you finally get to see a villain suffer. And the middle of the movie is very clever. The way it develops the subplots and interweaves the subplots of the characters. It's a very good movie. I'm not sure if it's great. It's bordering on great, I guess. What I didn't like about it, I think maybe it was too long. I think also a lot of the subplots were kind of irrelevant or uninteresting. For example, there's a junkie subplot, and it was very funny. It was kind of funny, but I'm not sure how much it had to do with the plot, right? Did we really need to see him, trying to break into cars? Did we really need to see him going to pawn shops? I don't see how that really was relevant. That could have been cut out entirely. The fact that the blonde chick is sleeping with a guy who's married, I'm not sure how that relates to anything. So that could be cut out entirely. So that already trims the movie down like by 15 minutes. The fact that the main little kid of the movie, is bullied at school doesn't really have any relevance whatsoever. It doesn't ever matter. That could be cut entirely, so that's another 2-3 minutes you can cut from the movie. I might go so far as to say that all the subplots could be cut entirely. I mean, a lot of these horror movies, right, like Jordan Peele's big movie, breakout movie, Get Out. A lot of these movies could just be a 20-minute Twilight Zone episode. There's a really stupid scene where dude is having a dream and he sees in the sky like an AK-47, and it makes no sense at all. Essentially, it's like a movie with a strong horror themed opening premise, and then a whole midsection which is just drama that with no horror, like almost no horror, it's like it reminded me of like Magnolia or something, just all these subplots. And the director apparently was influenced by Magnolia, influenced by David Lynch, influenced by The Shining, and it shows. I hate Magnolia. I hate that director. I hate his irrelevancies. That's the thing I hate the most about that director, and that the thing I hate the most in this movie is that AK-47 in the sky. It's like we're just supposed to think, oh wow, that's just some random stupid thing that means nothing, and then all the idiots are gonna philosophize about what could it mean. So I've watched lots and lots of I wouldn't call them reviews of this movie, but like analyses of this movie, and it's fun, but it's total bullshit. It's like listening to conspiracy theorists. I find it fun. I find it funny. Like for example, I enjoy watching movies. Like YouTube videos about how aliens might have built the pyramids, even though I know that's bogus. It's fun. It's fun to like. It's almost like science fiction. For example, one YouTuber said, "Oh, the number 217. Well, if you look at in the Bible, Matthew." Chapter 2 verse 17, it says blah blah blah, so maybe it's a reference to that Bible verse. I'm like, okay, well that's interesting, but it's not true, obviously. And even if it is true, like, who cares? Why are we supposed to know that? How are we supposed to read that in when we watch the movie? Or all this stuff about, oh, it's about addiction and how addictions can be like parasites. They spread and they ruin families and they ruin communities. It's like, oh yeah, okay, sure. And it just as easily might not mean that. And people say that. I've watched YouTube videos about The Shining, where they read something into every little detail. And I'm sorry, Stanley Kubrick did not intricately plan all this symbolism. I always say, if you stare at a pot of water for long enough, you'll find all sorts of deep meaning in it. And there's all these different theories about why are the children running with their arms like that. And the director just said, look, I saw a picture, a very famous photograph from the past of a kid running like that, and I thought it was really like terrifying. So it was as simple as that. So it's a good, well-made horror movie. Okay, it's a very good, well-made horror movie, but there's nothing more than that. Okay, it's not deep. It's not, I also hate David Lynch. So if a movie is trying to make a profound statement, then it's the director's job and the writer's job to get that statement through to the audience. And if the audience doesn't understand the statement, then that's the director or writer's fault. It's not on the audience, and you shouldn't have to analyze it or watch it 35 times or think about every little shot of the movie in order to understand it. And it does it even worse than this movie is the movie Get Out, where I always thought, this movie would have been so much better if it didn't have such an obvious racial message, because the racial message is already there without it being so overt. And don't try to be profound. It was a good movie without the profound symbolism and all BS, and it wasn't as symbolic, it wasn't as profound as it thought it was. Do you disagree? Do you agree? Did you see this movie? Did you like it?